All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is not the Power Hour on Wall Street. That's between 3 and 4 Eastern Time. Right now, this is going to be a powerful hour of looking at extremely hot small cap stocks that are very popular. And as I've been saying, September, a little bit of a pullback as we get towards the end of this week, maybe even a little bit in October. But I believe this might be the very best dip buy of 2025. Any pullback we get right now, because overall I see bullishness. We're going to break down crypto. We're going to break down Open, RGTI, Poet. I've not talked about that one before, and BBAI. And I'm going to get the Stock Squad's reaction. Stock Mo is not with us today, but I do have, when he is sorely missed, I do have someone who's going to try to fit the window where he normally would be. And hopefully you guys can have some grace on him and let him do his thing. But I believe he's coming to contribute. We're going to look at those four stocks and open stock. And I'm going to give you my opinion at the very end, which one is the strongest and the hottest that can continue to run and why. It's always going to be educational. It's always going to be about the charts. And we use the charts to make money. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Wall Street. This is the Stocks with Josh show, and I've got some powerful guests who are going to share with you guys their insights on these small cap plays that have been winners. If you bought them at any moment in 2025, you've made money. And the question is, are they going to continue to run all the way into the end of this year? Welcome, Larry. Thank you for joining me. Keenan.
Yes, sir.
And Spy Lord, Money Mike. Michael's in the house. Thank you guys for being here today. I just want to acknowledge some of the folks out there. Take a minute, guys, and just kick this video off and run those like numbers up for me. That's the little price to pay for what we're going to share with you guys today. And I promise you, I'm coming to deliver with insights on these four plays. These have been money makers. I think they can continue to be money makers. Larry, right off the bat, I'm going to just break down a couple other subjects that we're going to go over. We're going to talk about what the Fed said, and we're going to talk about the Fed in general and inflation briefly. We're going to get to that, and we're going to talk about these hot stocks. And the last subject that I had was a little bit AI, and how people can get prepared to take advantage of making money with AI. Larry, what is your view right now on the market? I'd love, before we even get into the subject matter of the day, what do you think of the market right now? You know, I've been saying, well, I'll leave it to you. What are your thoughts on the market right now?
Well, the market is frothy. You guys can hear me?
Man, yes, sir.
You got me looking real red there. There's jokes behind that, but I ain't gonna tell it because everybody you got me looking real red right there, Josh. I don't know what's going on. But hey, listen, the market is frothy. I let my followers know that I'm expecting another 200%. 200 points off of the NASDAQ, meaning the NASDAQ. I'm expecting it to cool off. Yes, I'm expecting it to cool off by another 200 points on top of today. That's what I'm looking for to be realistic on a pullback and a healthy pullback. You know, it may not be that much, but I could see that easily on the NASDAQ, which is tech heavy. And if you're into these plays, BBAI, Rigetti, QUBT, the quantum computing stock, the AI stock, big tech, all of that will be affected. And if you're ready, you will be ready to be purchasing. And I do believe we need a good, healthy pullback right now because we just keep going up, up, up. And of course, Friday, we got PCE and GDP coming out. And I believe that would be an opportunity if inflation is hot. I believe that would be an opportunity for correction. And letting those of you that don't understand that a good correction would be good for us right now because it'll reset us to have a bigger close higher at the end of the year.
I agree with that, Larry, as far as the need for a correction and the healthier of a correction that we get, the more volumes and transactions that occur at different levels, these become support later on. But if you don't have any fight between the bulls and the bears, you don't really have any heavy volume levels that could become support. So when the market really gets scared, that's how you get these violent V shapes that we had in April, because
Exactly.
it had run up a lot by then. But let's jump over and let me see if I can pull up Mr. Grace. Yes, Mr. Grace in the house. Mr. Grace, I'm curious your thoughts on this next 2 weeks. I'm going to keep this, we're not going to be looking way out. You could do whatever you want, but I'm really curious your personal take on this week and next week and what you think the markets are gearing up to do.
I'm seeing the markets gearing up to take another leg up. I often look at the markets as if it's like a stair step, and I can see us just laddering up. So September was supposed to be the month that things traditionally come down. Generally, towards the end of the year is when consumers really get busy, meaning a lot of these companies are going to start to make a lot more revenue. Interest rates are coming down at the same time, meaning debt is going to be cheaper, and we know how people are when they like to consume. So with that being said, I can see the market going up pretty much for the rest of the year. Honestly, I think we're going to hit new all-time highs again and again and again, as we've been. Many people don't know we hit like 57 closes of all-time highs last year, 2024, and this year we're on about 29. So it doesn't mean that we're going to be as good as 2024, but we are more than halfway there. So there are a few stocks that I want to put on your radar, and one of them, this one is a hot one, right? So my people who like to long-term invest, I'm not saying just basically hold on to this one in diamond hand, but at least go look at what they're doing. And this one is called CLPT. So CLPT is ClearPoint Neuro. So this is kind of like one of those therapeutic kind of companies, but its story is a little bit different. So this stock, if you look at it, it has a market cap. This is a baby micro stock, 500 million market cap. But they popped up just about 58% today. And it's because of just a lot of things that they got going on with the revenue and with some partnerships. But we could talk about it a little bit later.
Well, I like that. And I'll take a little peek at that chart and see what I see in it. Maybe this is going to be something that we could all feed upon. All right, thank you, Keenan, for your perspective.
I do want to be clear, though, because a lot of people, I was talking to Larry about this when we were in, where were we, in Virginia?
Hampton,
People
Virginia.
would hear something and you're supposed to make money on it and get out of it, but then they never, ever, ever want to get out of it. So sometimes I don't even want to bring it to your attention because I know I'm gonna need that notepad. I know I'm gonna need that notepad. Say, yo, y'all remember we got in a CLPT, and we stayed in it for 2 days, and you like, yo, Keenan, man, it's 2028. I'm still in that. How's it? What's up with that?
That's so true, brother.
Man.
Listen, my view of Keenan right now, he is not afraid of a red candle, and he can handle the heat in the kitchen, guys. He's not afraid. All right, let's bring our guy, Money Mike, into this. Yeah. Money Mike is a charting guy like myself. He prices truth. The wicks express the emotion of the market. The RSI and the MACD tell us whether or not there's still momentum to the move. Michael, you're deep in the charts. Larry and I used to know this evangelist, and you'd ask him, how you doing? And he'd say, head down and butt up.
Head down, butt up.
And what that means is you're in the work. You're in the work, right. Head down and butt up. And a lot of people in the world, work hard. But the point is, this man is focused on those charts. And I'm curious, Michael, Money Mike, what is your view of the charts right now? Because I'm seeing a little bit of rollover. I'm not afraid of it. I feel what Keenan's saying. I'm actually excited about any red candles we get because we didn't get many in September. Larry, you remember we got one red candle at the beginning of September, and then it's been green ever since?
And it was the first day.
Yeah, the first day, just to psych everybody out. But then every other day, like Keenan said, we made brand new all-time highs. Money Mike, what do you think of the charts right now?
Yeah, I see a little rollover, Josh. I think everything's frothy, just like you guys were saying. But I do see a little bit of rollover. I think on the SPY, man, if we can start, if we lose this 657, 655 level, I wouldn't mind to come test this 20 on the daily at 655. We could get a nice little pullback down through here to 640, and 620 isn't completely crazy off the table. but I've learned something over the last few years that these are buying opportunities. When I go back and look and look and look and look and look, it's always a buying opportunity. So I'm sitting 50 to 60% in cash ready. So
Yeah,
I
well,
think
and
we're
I got to
ready for a
comment
little bit
on
of
that
rollover.
because Larry will tell you better than anybody, and most of you who have been following us for a long time have probably heard Larry talk about how long the stock market has been open, and yes, it's all buying opportunities as long as you have a strategy and you're not going to panic sell if you get one more red candle. Larry, just curious, would you share your thoughts on this? And Keenan does a great job sharing that long-term view as well, and but it's all buying opportunities, isn't it, Larry?
It's absolutely buying opportunities. I actually look forward to it. I built portfolios, strong portfolios. Josh, you've seen my portfolios. We were just there.
They're all
And
green, brother.
all green. And one of them is up over 113%. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in the portfolios. And for my followers, where my money movers at, they know, they've seen, I list them all there. And I will just tell you, it was buying opportunities. I built them all on buying opportunities. Some of them I just DCA'd in very, 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 very small amounts. Just I'm buying every Friday anyway. I don't care how small it is. But when we have all the opportunities that we've had over the last years, or since since the president got elected, we've had a lot of buying opportunities. Let's just call it what it is, especially Liberate Me from My Money Day. That was for those of you that live in fear, that was the biggest blessing you ever could have had. And it was just a buying opportunity. So I'm going to say this right up the top, and I've been saying it over and over. Every dollar that you put into your broker, in which you should be putting in every single time you get paid. Every time you get paid, you should be paying yourself first. But for every dime that you put into your broker, don't put that money, well, anything we say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell, but Larry don't put all his money into the broker. Into the bank. I put my money into the broker, okay? And my crypto account, which some of them I'm making 4.6% on, right? So that's a whole nother story. For every dollar that you put in your accounts right now, because the market is so frothy, you should be investing 25 to 30% and keeping that cash. That's how you build up a cash, all right? Then that's how you build up dry powder. Then when we have these sell-off days, so you can still be in a game, but keeping cash at least 50% with the market this frothy. And then when we have those sell-off days, that's when you can go in. And you don't put everything in on the first dip, because there may be another dip. So you take that money that you've been holding in cash and you break it up into three parts. Unless you have pullbacks like the SPY and the S&P going down by 10, 15, and 20%. Now at 20%, I'm going all in at negative 20%. I'm shoving it all in. I did it at Liberation Day right in front of you guys. I started at negative 15%. And then when we hit negative 20%, I can show you on the chart, Josh, you can pull that up too. You pull that 200-day moving average up, and it doesn't matter. You can go on the weekly. And if the NASDAQ goes down negative 20%, every single time you should have been buying and buying heavy.
Absolutely. Real quick, Juana Riddick, who we had the pleasure of meeting in Hampton, Virginia, at Charles's church, said, "Where's Mo?" And Mo had family coming over, and he's not able to make it today, but he graciously said, "Go on without him, and he'll definitely be in the next show." So we're missing Mo. So let's break it down. We're going to talk briefly about what the Fed said. I want to come back to Keenan one more time and just simply, Keenan, you gave the number for how many times the SPY hit a brand new all-time high. So what was that number again?
This year is about 27 or 28. I forgot the exact number. Last year it was about 57, and this is S&P 500. But I got to say this, man. I often feel like I get called on to say certain things, and sometimes I go against the grain. I know a lot of us here are traders. I know a lot of us here are looking at the next big play. But SPY Lord, I know you didn't just say you got 60% of your money in cash, and you letting Jerome Powell eat your money up, 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 up. I know I didn't hear that. Spy Lord, where my notepad at? Where my notepad at? We gotta.
Well,
So
I
I
got
say
it
that. I say
ready.
that
I
out of
got it
love.
ready.
I say that out of love. I'm sure you're gonna clear everything up. But I wanted to say,
if it's in his portfolio, if it's in his broker, then he good.
I am good.
I gotta say again, I'm gonna disagree with that too. I'm gonna disagree with that too. And this is why. And again, I know you know how to trade. Let's be clear. Everybody in the comments, let's be clear. Spy Lord gets busy. He knows what
he knows
what
he's
to
doing.
do. But I know that there are people who are watching this who are not as skilled as Spy Lord who need to hear this. So Spy Lord, I'm talking to you, but you're more inspired than I'm worried about you. I'm not worried about you at all. I know you got it. So I wanted to be clear with that. But the family in the chat who's listening to this, you 50% of cash, you 60% of cash. You got it sitting in your brokerage account. You are doing two things to yourself. You allowing yourself to get eaten up by inflation. That's first, right? The second thing is you overstressing yourself. Do you know how easy it was to make 17% on your money in 2025? It's a no-brainer. The S&P 500, it's a no-brainer. So if you are just trading every dollar you have, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You never really gonna get to where you can get, because you should be an investor first and a trader second. I want to say that again. If you want to get extremely wealthy, you want to be an investor first and then a trader second. You want to find things. It could have been your investments into your Nvidia. It could have been your investments into your Palantirs, your Robinhood, whatever. Investor first. It could even been S&P 500, your VOOs. This is how you are going to get financially free. If you have all of your money, 50% of it, riding on this dip or riding on whatever it is to be the next big play, what it's going to do is it's going to add unnecessary stress on your heart, raise your blood pressure, and you don't need it. Getting rich is actually extremely simple. Notice I said simple, not easy. It's simple.
I love that.
Because you are an investor. Now,
I got my boxing
well, I say that to
gloves on,
say,
'cause me and Keenan
Spy
about to
Lord
fight.
and everybody else in the chat, I want you to, when you get a chance to, because I know you got this, never in your life again, please let me hear that you got all that money in cash. Please, please, please. If I ever heard Warren Buffett was 50% or 60% of cash, I'd be like, man, what is he doing? Or Apple or Microsoft or Nvidia. I'd be like, man, what are you doing? That money should be at work. But instead it's taking a rest and getting robbed from inflation.
Maybe
all right, I love this.
I love this,
Larry. What did you want to say? And then I want to.
Okay,
go ahead, brother.
Here's what I'm going to say. Keenan Grace, I disagree with you. I wish you had a bail.
We're having a good fight here tonight.
We got a fight here tonight. So let me tell you what happened. On Liberation Day, I put $238,000 cash into the market on Liberation Day. Why? Because I had it. Here's what'll happen, and I feel you. But so you gotta deal with your skill level. All right. So Keenan and I will both agree, according to your skill level. I knew that the market was coming down. So if the market was at a normal pace right now, I'm with you, Keenan. I'd have all my money in the market, right? But because the market is frothy and because these PEs are insane, you take it to Palantirs and all big tech, it's got to cool off, and it's coming. No one knows when. Now, I said that I buy weekly, so we're gonna cut each other some grace. I said that I buy weekly anyway, but when those big opportunities come, go back to, it was April 2nd, because he didn't want April 1st because that was April Fool. Remember? Go back to April 2nd, Josh, if you could. Go back to April 2nd on the SPY and the Qs. Those opportunities are once in a lifetime opportunities. And listen, this is a play out of Keenan Grace's book, having so much money in the S&P 500. How you get it? You got to have some cash ready. Now, I know you got high yield savings. At one time it was 5.1 and now it's down in the 4s, right? I get it. And then my other money, my crypto money, I got a ton of money in USDC making over 3%, right? and then here's the deal though, Keenan. You got to be brave enough to deploy big cash when the opportunity comes. But now, if you have your money and it's not in your broker and it's going to take 5 to 7 days to clear, then that's when you missed the golden opportunity. So you got to figure out a way to be locked and loaded when these opportunities come. So here's where it is. You guys see that chart, right? I was locked and loaded and ready. And when it did, Keenan, you know what I bought other than other stock? I bought VUG, I bought GRNY, I bought QQQ. So I bought ETFs, $238,000 worth of ETFs. Then I bought some more stock when we dipped. When you dip, I dip, we dip.
All right, well, real quick, I'm going to comment on the SPY, bring up an old memory here. You know, I got so much heat, Larry, on this day right here where I did a video and I said, buy, buy, buy. I saw which direction we were going based on this volume. My years of experience meant nothing to anybody because people, it had a couple more days where it dipped, and then we've shot like a rocket ever since. And people just had no vision or understanding. They were lost in their emotions. And, you know, what Larry's saying is 100% right. We get south of that 200-day moving average. Even if we continue and have a time struggling to get above it, you can see based on that chart that has been well.
Why are you saying that?
What's that?
Could you pin Richard Roberts' comment and then continue what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, let me. So real quick, let me just finish that, and I'll get that up there, because I wanted to respond to Richard Roberts.
Yes, sir.
The point I'm making is this: you could have bought anything across the board when we were underneath the 200-day moving average, and as long as you had the right time frame, maybe 2-year leaps, these would have been wildly popular. Now, I'm going to quickly comment on Richard Roberts. So today in the live trading session with me and Michael and the community, we ran puts down on the S&P 500 off of my scalp setups, and on our runners got up to 60 to 65%. Richard Roberts was in that group. He let those runners run, and he got 210%. So congratulations. Did you want to make a point about that too, Larry?
Yeah, no, Richard Roberts left another one that he followed me when I did do that. Richard Roberts, make that comment again or copy it.
I see it.
He said
I see it, Larry.
You see it?
Yeah. It says he followed Larry in money moves in April, turned 70K into 220K.
Woo!
Boom! Can I get a boom, baby?
Larry, we need an official signature Money Mike acknowledgement of that. Can we get that?
Boom, baby. Boom.
That's right. Okay, real quick, since we've given Michael so much attention, I want to give him just a little bit more attention, and I want to shout out the fact that this guy's got an account on YouTube, as well as obviously the four of us do. And Keenan Grace, you can find him on Keenan Grace. You can find Larry on Stock Up with Larry Jones. I know some of you may not have come across them, but let's give a little bit of extra love to Money Mike here. I'm going to pull up my screen.
Mike.
And go over to his page. Now, this is a new baby page. He's been trading for a while. He's only got a small amount of videos up, and he's only got 5,059 subscribers, which, to be honest, in the world of YouTube, isn't easy. And this guy is worth following, and I'd love to see you guys go over there and hit that subscribe button. His name is Spylord, at Spylord Scalps, and he's at 5.59 thousand, 600 subscribers, it looks like. Let's push him over to 6,000 over the next couple of days as you guys watch this video. All right. Let's get down to what the people want to talk about. I'm going to take a brief moment to talk about the Fed Jerome Powell, and then we're going to jump into these small cap stocks. And what do I want to say about that? Well, Fed Powell said that stocks were expensive. He came out and specifically said, I'll read you the exact quote. He said that they're fairly highly valued.
Josh, can I say something about that real quick?
I'm coming. Yeah, no, I'm going to come to you.
When I tell you, Jerome Powell is one of the most unclear people I ever heard in my life, right? Let's say, everybody in the chat, listen to this. He said that they are fairly highly valued. Wait, are they fairly valued or are they highly valued,
Oh,
man? Why did you
you're
just
100%
say that?
right. You
Right?
are
Why don't you just
100% right.
come on now, Jerome? So I say that to say this. What if I go to you? What if I go in front of you and I say, Josh, I'm fairly highly certain. Like, you're gonna be like, wait.
Come on, Keenan. We need to get this guy.
That's like saying this. Hey, Keenan, did you, are you gonna punch me in the face, man? And I said, I'm 100% sure that I might.
That is a point well said. Well, now here's the other problematic. I love that. I'm 100% sure I might. Here's the other problem. He actually went on to say that the cut that we got, and he undercut the cut he gave by saying the cut was risk management, which implies that it may not even have been necessary, but that he was using it as a hedge or insurance on what the market might do. That also is exactly what Keenan is saying, is that it really wasn't clear. He's like, yeah, we're going to give you this cut. We don't have to. We don't need to. We're not scared of nothing. But, just to play it safe, here's a 25 basis point cut. Larry, let me get your response, and we're going to get right into small cap stocks, and I'm going to give you my pick out of all of them.
Yeah, well, I noticed and wrote down the exact same things that you guys brought up. And you guys know, if you ever want to make money, now anything we say is not a suggestion to buy, hold, to sell. And there's a saying, only a fool trades while the Fed is speaking. But I'm telling you, if you ever want to make money with options, especially on the SPY and the Qs, just do a put as soon as the Fed starts speaking. And if it's a FOMC meeting, when it goes down, hit your target, then you could do a call. And then you need to be out and out. And when he's finished talking, you need to be out of your positions. That's just a moneymaker right there. All right. But anytime he's talking, the market goes down. Why? Because the market heard what he said. He did say that. I gave you this, but you didn't deserve it. It's like your dad saying, here's your allowance, but you really didn't deserve it. You didn't clean your room. And that's how I felt when the Fed spoke. So I agree with you guys.
I love that. Okay, we're going to try to get this jam-packed with value, and let's have a quick conversation about crypto. And to do that, I'm going to give you guys my chart, and it's not going to be a long charting session, but it's important that you screenshot this because, I stand on it. This is what I'm saying. And if you respect the technicals I give, well, then these technicals will matter to you. Let me pop this in real quick. Okay, guys, this is not changed. I don't believe it will change. I'm still bullish. I think that we've had a minor consolidation and flattening out of price here in the month of September. We're maintaining 107, and we have no fear as long as we're above 107. We have none, zero, in the Stocks with Josh community. Now, we will reevaluate if we drop beneath 107, and everything is over, I think, when we get below 85. And so that's my position. I just wanted you guys to have a fresh update on that. And I wanted you guys to hear from me that I'm actually going back into buy mode. I had been shorting that recent run up, and now I'm shifting away from, I'm closing up my shorts in crypto. And there's a link for BloFin in the description of this video, I believe, or I'll get one in there. And that enables you to short crypto in the United States without having KYC. Now, I am looking at loading back up and going back as we get just through this week. I've been telling everybody, let's just get through Friday and see how the market reacts to the PCE. I'm hoping and praying for a red candle. I'll take one on Monday as well. And then we're going to be having a lot of buy alerts in the Stocks with Josh Discord.
And what should they be doing if there is a dip Friday and Monday?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I'll probably shoot it back to you in a minute, but let me just explain it to you. I only look to take positions in the half hour before the market closes. And so, one, be careful not to let the market shake you out of positions or buy the bottom. But what are your thoughts, Larry? What are you looking to do on Friday?
Okay, well, some of the small caps that you're talking about, so you guys know I'm into a lot of quantum computing stock, and I believe you wanted to talk about one of them, which was Rigetti, right?
Yep.
So here's what I'm gonna here's what I'm looking at. So I have Rigetti, QUBT, IONQ, what else? I got Oklo, which is a little different. So I have all of SoundHound. So I got those small AI quantum computing stock, right? So I'm going to be looking for positions in them because they're actually running strong. But when bad data comes out, these tank by 15 to 20% in a day. Okay. So there's a pullback in the morning. And then just like Josh said, the last half hour to hour of the market, there's a deeper pullback sometimes, right? So now I'm going to be looking, well, you won't be able to see mine. I'm going to be looking at them, but here's what I'm going to do, Josh. And I'm letting my people know, I'm letting you guys know. So let me shrink my screen a little bit and try to pull it in here to see if we could bring that over that way. Okay, there we go. All right. So Rigetti, Josh, is
Yes.
one of them, right? And I didn't finish striking my lines here. I was pulling them up. We could have some serious falls in Rigetti, right? Rigetti could come on down with some bad news. If big tech goes, these absolutely fall hard, Josh. Just the stock. So now here's what I do. I'm going to buy some more stock. I haven't pulled the RSI I haven't pulled the MACD and RSI up. So I was just doing this while you guys were talking. I'm going to buy more stock, but you know what pays for my stock, Josh? And I'm talking BBI, RGTI, all of these. So this is what I do, Josh. I turn around and I buy the warrants on the dip.
This is good info, guys. Pay attention.
Yes. The warrants will dip hard. If the stock goes down 15%, the warrants will go down 30% in the same day. But as you can see in the last 5 days, while the stock was going up, this is Rigetti warrants and this is BBI warrants. As you could see in the last 5 days, Rigetti warrants are up 83%, while BBI warrants are up 25%. These are the warrants, okay? Over the last month, good people, printing. Look at that. Rigetti's warrants are up 283%, while BBAI warrants are up 92%. So what I do, Josh, is the amount that I buy of shares that I buy of the stock, I buy it, and then I buy the same amount in that morning dip of the warrants. And then at closing bell, I buy another round of warrants. So now, not shares, but money to money, I put the same amount in the warrants in the morning and the shares. And then the closing bell, I double down on the warrants. Then I wait for them to pop. When I mean pop, I mean 30% days later on the next pop, 30, 40, 60, 90%, sometimes 150% on the warrants. And then I sell the warrants. And what happened? The warrants paid for the stock. So the stock that I'm holding cost me zero. As a matter of fact, the stock that I'm having, even if they don't go up 1 penny, I've made money on the entire deal. But I wait until double digits, meaning negative 10, 12, 15%. That's when I buy the stock. And then I double down on the warrants. So that's the way we've been playing it, and we've been making bank.
Larry, just clarify with everybody how they can find the warrant ticker versus the stock ticker.
Yes. So on the warrant ticker, you need a legacy broker. You can't do it on Moo. You can't do it on Robinhood or Webull. It has to be TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, Schwab. It has to be a major legacy broker. When you type in the ticker symbol, make sure you type in W behind it. Sometimes it's WT behind it, and you will see that it is a fraction of the share. Now, You can't just go out and search for warrants on other stock because there's a whole lot more behind these warrants, okay, which we don't have time to get into right now. But Rigetti warrants, here's how I can tell you, here's how I'm going to show you that it's a good play. So now, let me just go to Rigetti, all right? RGTI. I'm going to go to Rigetti, okay? So now that's Rigetti, and then I'm going to put the warrants beneath. So watch here. So I'm just going to go RGTI, and you can see the warrants pull up here. See that W?
Yep.
Bam. Now, we could see that the stock price is 31, and we could see that the warrants are 20. Now, this is telling me, I didn't see that spread. This is telling me that these warrants are not as good as play as it used to be. So who has a calculator? What's 31 minus 60%? I don't have it. Here. 31 minus 60%. So let's see here. 3160 minus 60%. So we got 12. Yeah. So minus the 12. It's what?
I don't know if I'm putting it in right, Larry.
Okay.
31.60.
So let me go to what's the other one? What's
That's
the other one?
That's 12.4, Larry. 12.4.
Right. So now I'm glad I just looked. Now the warrants have caught up to the stock price. So I'm glad I did this live. The warrants have caught up to the stock price. So now I'm not going to be loading up on the warrants. What's the other one? BBAI. Let's look at BBAI right quick, if you don't mind, Josh.
No, that's fine. I like it.
Okay. All right. So BBAI, and we're going to look at which one is the better play compared to BBAI warrants. All right, babies. All right, sorry. BBAI. There we go. Warrants. Okay.
That looks better.
So now this is a better warrant play. So what I was saying about Rigetti, scratch it. I'm not chasing the warrants. As far as the warrant play, this is the better warrant play by far. So if these stock are going up at this gap in the price, the warrants will go up way quicker. So you can clearly see today that the stock is down 4.92%, right? And how much are the warrants down? Twice as much. See? But going up, it's going to do the opposite. Whatever the stock goes up, the warrants will go up.
No, this is a great example, Larry. It's a great example.
Yes. So remember that when it falls, the warrants fall twice as fast. But when it rises at a spread like this, then the warrants rise at twice the rate.
So to keep it really simple, guys, if there's one that you're thinking of taking risk on, like Rigetti, Open, Poet, or BBAI, take a minute if you have a legacy exchange and go type in a W at the end of the ticker and see when it's falling. So let's say that Rigetti or BBAI fall a really hard 10 to 20%, okay? And then you go look at the warrants and those are down 30 to 40%. And you're thinking that you want to get into one of these, you may consider buying the warrants because they have bigger moves, right? And so, be careful, small cap, small position size. But let's break it down.
And can I
go
add
ahead.
this? The warrants are short-term swing trades, to Keenan's point. You don't hold the warrants, right? You may hold them for a couple of days for the pop, maybe sometimes even a week or two for the pop, right? Then you sell, because what happens is they'll fall back down. They're literally, they move like options, okay? Minus the theta, but they move like options.
All right, let's go over these really quickly. We're going to start breaking down the small cap. We will still get to crypto. You've got Rigetti is quantum computing. Rigetti is a full stack quantum computing company, but it's still all R&D. Somebody's going to disagree with me. I think that Larry is our resident quantum computing expert, in my opinion. He loves these and makes a lot of money on them. Larry, I'm going to say that I've looked at the chart. I have an opinion of the chart. I'm sure that, I have confidence in my charting. So I'll give my opinion in a moment. But what would you say to a lot of folks that say this is way overhyped, it's too early, and this is just a glorified R&D stock with losing money, and we know what it'll do in time. We know that it will dilute. It needs it needs all the same money that these other companies need to build AI, but it doesn't have it. And so NVIDIA didn't knock on the door saying, here's $1 billion. So it's got to go out and it's got to get it from you. It's got to get it from Larry by a dilution of shares. They basically create new shares to dilute all their current shareholders, and they go out and raise some capital, and that really. That's the pain of owning a company when it's not in profit and cannot keep the light bills on its own. Larry, I'm curious your thoughts on that. Sure. This thing is run hot and hard in 2025. They're not profitable. Yes. They will dilute. It'll be at any given moment. What would you say to those bears?
Easy. It's easy. So, can you bring me up to the big screen?
Yes, sir.
So, there's a company that they've been saying the same thing about, named Palantir. Okay? Josh, in a week, oh, it's too much. It's too much. A month ago, oh, it's too much. It's going to turn around tomorrow. 6 months ago, oh, too much. Year to date, 1 year. Look at that. 5 years. Look at that. Listen, so you can see that over the last year, 386%. Year to date, 137%. My point is, they're right, but there's room, right? I'm not Palantir. I'll sell it. I'll take a haircut at 200. And Josh, I've had some since $10, $7 even, but $10, right? And they keep saying it, and then one day it will be true. So now it's in the same spot as Palantir. Actually, it's a baby Palantir if you look at the way the structure is. Palantir have these contracts, right? Quantum computing is going to be big, and yes, they are overvalued. The PEs, they're not just insane; they're not listed. Try to find the PEs on these. Now you're operating off of forward PE, but try to find the PEs on it. When you go to Google Finance and you don't see a PE to the right, red flag. So you're saying, Larry, is a red flag. What I'm saying is yes, but there's a lot of money to be made. They've been dogging Palantir since 2021, right, Josh?
Yep.
It's too much. They were saying it was too much at $10. They were saying it was too much. Now here we are at $180, and it's still going. Yes, it is overpriced. The PE is insane. It makes 0 sense. They get hit hard when big tech gets hit hard. But all I'm going to say is there's a lot of time with quantum computing, and one day it's going to grow up, and instead of wearing its granddad's clothes or the hand-me-downs where they're long, eventually one of these are going to take off, and it will be the next NVIDIA. Because quantum computing is the future and it is needed. And I believe that either Rigetti, QUBT, IONQ, one of these will be acquired by even someone like NVIDIA. And it's going to be a wrap. NVIDIA will buy one of these quantum computing stock. So if you put the same amount of money in all of them, if one of them popped, it was worth your while.
That's a really good and valid point. Let me quickly say that the likes are not where they need to be. You guys want my final call on which of these four I think has the most powerful upside in the soonest. You better get those likes to 1,000 or I'm going to cut the show off. All right, let's talk real quick here. Kevin, I'm going to pull a Keenan on you guys and just end this thing. No, I'm just kidding. Kevin says,
we got my Lord Josh.
Kevin says, I'm up 86,000 for the last 3 months with Spylord and Josh. Either that or Spy and Josh. I think it's Spylord. Some with your plays, some with mine, with the info you have taught us. Thank you guys so much. So I just have to
Congrats.
acknowledge
Yeah,
that's an incredible move. 86K in 3 months. Come on,
Incredible.
guys. That's
I know.
life-changing money. Now, I'm going to tell you this
I
right now,
know,
and I want
Kev.
you to lean in and listen to me very carefully. That this isn't magic, okay? That man has a plan, he has patience, and he has discipline, and he's in a community. So if you are
That's
all
right.
by yourself and you're thinking just to find that lucky play and you're hoping that one of these small caps is it, and you don't have a long-term investment strategy like Keenan bopped us with the big notebook today, then you're likely not going to see those gains. But I know that my man Kevin has all of those things. Okay, let's talk about it. Rigetti, quantum computing, BBAI. Now, I feel so tempted to give my opinion on this, but I'm going to slow it down, get their opinion, and then I'll give mine. BBAI is an AI-driven intelligence largely focused on the same path that Palantir is in regard to getting that government money, getting all up with the military contracts. They do AI forecasting and data analysis. And this thing has a lot of room higher, okay? We've got Open, which is an iBuyer real estate platform, disrupting the traditional home sales process with tech. And this has been a meme stock. Let's keep it really clear. I'm not saying that they couldn't reinvent themselves with all of these eyes on the stock right now. I mean, you got to remember that that stock price runs up. It gives life back into the company. So anything could happen, similar to some other meme stocks we've seen in the past. But just understand that the reason why the retail community jumped on OpenAI is because it was overly shorted and it became a hype meme stock, right? Then we've got Poet. Now, this is actually a pretty complicated company. It's Phononics tech company. Their core product is optical interposer tech that reduces the power and size in chip-to-chip communication. I think Poet is a sleeping giant. Those are our four of interest tonight. And let me just, I'm going to roll through the group. We're going to ask them which one. And they don't have to be, they could pull a F.E.D Jerome Powell on me and say, I kind of certainly maybe like one. But, or maybe I'll get on them if they don't give me a clear answer. But let's kick this off with Keenan. Mr. Grace, no kind of maybe, sort of like it. What are your thoughts on those four plays? Which, if you were to buy on the dip on Friday, if we get one, we have no idea if we get one, which of those four might you consider playing?
So the last one that you spoke on was Poet, right? And I like what they do, right? The only thing is sometimes in these companies, it's very, very hard to compete because if you ever looked at the company Meta, which is formerly Facebook, you'll notice that these large companies, they actually cannibalize the smaller companies all the time. Instagram, YouTube, many other ventures like that, WhatsApp, these are all different companies. Google cannibalize Waze or so many different things goes on. So I say all of that to say, if they have a good thing though, like improving the efficiency that two computer chips talk to each other, that's huge. But you could look for other companies to try to take it. But why could that be good? Because they could actually get bought out. And that could be really, really good in terms of if you got in early. So now I'll say of all of these, I do currently like the one that you said, that's the word Poet Technologies. I like that one a lot. But it's a micro cap company, family. So understand, I don't want to hear that you put all of your money in a Poet, right? I don't want to hear that.
Right.
I actually had a question for you, Josh.
Yes, sir.
And this one, you can decide to answer it or not, but what would you say is your current allocation of cash? In terms of percentages?
Well, I do have some cash to deploy. And I would say, and I just simply haven't moved it around a little bit. So I do have around 20% cash, which is pretty high for me. I'm not used to having that much money put to work. And to be honest with you, we never got a dip. We never got a dip. And I was expecting a 6%er at some point. I mean, when we go back and look at that SPY, Keenan, the SPY is so far away from the moving averages. It is. We've got what's referred to as this expansion occurring, divergence, I mean to say, between the SPY and the moving averages, moving further away from the 5, the 10, and the 20. And so, we haven't had any kind of pullback. So I would agree that I've got some money to put in. I'll just put it to you that way. And 20% of my money is a lot of money. It's 7 figures. So
Yeah, and I hear you on that. And I say again, like everybody in the chat, right? I know we were joking about it, but I really want you to be an investor first. I want to just make sure that we have that set. And the reason being is you're going to be such a better trader when you have your investment set. They go hand in hand. But when you're only trading and this is all you do, what you're doing is you're almost giving yourself a new job, right? I've been trading and making a lot of money doing a lot of trades, but then funneling it into my investments because I don't want to see you at 93 years old. You going to check in on the charts. No, at this point, your investments should be taking care of you very easily. And honestly, for decades at that point. So just make sure that you locked in. And if I didn't say this either, I want to say this. Josh said something that was key, and that's the SPY. You know how I'll buy it right now, right? I'll buy it right now. Why? Because if it dips, I'll buy it again too, right? However, that's me thinking long term, very long term. But if you see SPY or the Fortune 500 companies or the Mag 7 drop under that daily 200 EMA, it could drop significantly under that. Let's be clear. But that's really, really, really where people who are veterans in the game are comfortable deploying heavy sums into it. But don't feel negatively about buying it in the all-time highs. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. Man, why would I buy it at the all-time highs? It's because the economy is steadily growing and growing and growing. So you just dollar cost average. That's how you're going to do it. When you try to time it, and I wanted to just make this one point. You might have made 100% play, and I'm talking to everybody in the audience. You might have made 100% play on a few $1,000, $10,000 even, right? $5,000, who knows? 100% on that. But you know what's better than that? If you had 17% on $100,000 or $200,000, where are you going to get 17% from? The S&P 500. It's better to make smaller percentages on all of your money than higher percentages on small pieces of your money. And this is why I want you to be more into your investing. And I joke around, but I really wanted to just pour into you in that way, that don't have so much cash. You're really going to put yourself in a position of just letting it lose to inflation. That's really what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is this too. I'm just going to be getting richer and richer and richer and singing the same song to somebody who I hope is listening.
I love that. And I want to get into some charts. I want to get started on this, but I'm going to tell a story that's just going to fire people up some more. I'm going to bring in the lightning rod Donald Trump and tell a story about his personal finances. And please don't get political in my comment section. Trust me, I don't care.
Please.
You know, I was really curious about his financial success. This was some years back, middle of Biden's presidency. And, you know, I'm interested in what people are doing and how they made it and all that jazz. And so I went back in, and if I get any of my facts wrong, forgive me. I'm just doing this by memory. I went back and looked at what was the big chunk of money he was given when his dad died, and he sort of inherited, his big inheritance, and I believe it was around $200 million. And I thought, well, let me just do some math here, and I threw that into a calculator that indicated what he would be worth in 2024 if he had put that $200 million into the SPY, and he would be worth $15 billion. And that was in 2024. So significantly more today. Some of the smartest and most powerful people in the world elude the wisdom that Keenan Grace on YouTube, retail trader, no institutional training, brought up, he pulled his, by the grace of God, it's been pulled up by his own straps of his own boots, is trying to help you guys with now. He built and sold a lot of things over the years. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I think he's worth around $2 billion. Again, if I get something wrong, 1.8 billion, 1.9 billion, something slightly under $2 billion. And I'm going to tell you something about real estate. And Larry, he knows about this. Those buildings are valued, maybe, let's say Mar-a-Lago's valued at 500 million. I don't know the number for it, right? It can be valued that way. But of course, if he had to turn around and sell it because his children wanted money if he were to pass away, they might only be able to get 100 million for it. So The truth is, liquidatable cash, his $2 billion could turn into 800 million. Now, if he had put that 200 million just in the SPY the day his dad died and it got wired from that account to his account, he'd be worth 15 billion plus. And here's the amazing thing. All 15 billion of those cash dollars could be liquidated and put in hand without a single percentage point lost on the buyer or seller who's willing to buy it situation. There's very few people beat Wall Street. Very, very few people beat Wall Street. And I saw Deshaun in here, who's an incredible trader. He's in the Stocks with Josh Discord. He's crushing it, making thousands of dollars a day. And he commented that he's mostly cash. And I trust him and believe that he's got good judgment. But I think, Deshaun, I think we should all take a little advice from Keenan tonight. And with that story of Mr. Trump, he'd be... Imagine all the trouble, the hours of work sitting behind that desk in Trump Tower, right? None of it was necessary. Not 1 minute of the struggle was necessary. He would have significantly more wealth, 15 billion, if he just dropped it in the SPY. So, guys, think about that for a minute. This might be the emerging wisdom for today. Now, I'm going to take you into the charts.
I got the same story with Oprah. I think she became a billionaire in like 2001 or something like that. I forget. Somebody in the chat, Google it. When did Oprah become a billionaire? And then how much money does she have today? If she became a billionaire in 2004, 2001,
I love this,
and had that money in the S&P 500, she wouldn't have like 3 billion like she probably does. She would have closer to 8, if not 10 billion.
So, a lot of work.
We're not going to cry for Oprah, right? She's still a billionaire. However, the S&P 500 is beating out all of the trouble that Josh was just alluding to, that people are going through, starting networks, getting in politics, everything. It would have beat it all out. And these are some of the most powerful men and women in the world. So I say that to say, the stock market, you heard that is rigged, right? It is rigged. It's rigged for the Fortune 500 to win.
Yes, sir.
You just got to bet with the winning team.
I love this. Okay, guys, let's get into a real quick chart on Poet. I think this is going to be super valuable for you, and you're going to see the value of charting. I'm going to make some... It's not going to be complicated. Everybody's going to be brought along and understand. So this is the MACD down here, okay? Now, this zero line, whenever you get a cross above it or beneath it, that's either a buy or sell order. Now, let's just go back in time for when this crossed above. We're looking at the monthly chart, a very high time frame chart. We're going to go over and get a percentage indicator and go from the cross to the tip. That was a 700% move. Let's do it again on the monthly chart. We eventually crossed above right here in this zone. Let's go figure out what percentage move we got on Poet after that. We got a 300% move. Well, guess what it just did recently on a high time frame? We got both the MACD and we got the MACD line, which is your blue line, and we got the signal line, which is your orange line. They crossed at different times. One crossed here, and the other one crossed here, so relatively the same price. And what do we have? What do we have as far as a move? We have barely 50%. So previous crosses on a high time frame, when we weren't in an AI bullish market, yielded 700, nearly 300, and all we've gotten is 53. I'm expecting 150% return from this, so let me just keep it super clear. Minimum move expectancy. Minimum move expectancy is $12.50. So don't be tardy to the party. Do not be tardy to the party. This is something I'm in, right? I'm not saying there's no risk. I'm not saying we can't pull back, but I see opportunity here. Now let's go down to the RSI, and I'm gonna let Money Mike do one of these, and he's a really good charter. But let's go down here. What's going on down here in the RSI that gets me excited, okay? It's that we came up to the 60% mark. Now, the 60% mark, getting above it means it's getting ready to break out into a momentum move. We came up off of being oversold. We ran up to it. Now we retreated. That's normal. Came back, cooled off, hit the 50. That's normal. That's also a buy signal. That occurred right here. What's nice about this is that all of the buy signals have essentially been occurring in this little area of between 350 and 550. And then we've come back up to 60%. Now, if we cross above this previous high, and it's actually 62.5, we'll say. So if we get to 63, and you see all these accumulation volume candles here, we're going to hit that 1250 easy. And in my opinion, that's still just the beginning of the move. So
Josh, question.
Yes, sir.
at what point, and I've been stressing this, right? I want to give a shout out to one of my crown traders in my community. His name is Futures Trader Gator. And one thing that he was saying a lot was, and we all agree with this, but we don't often tell it. You got to consider what point is your play invalidated? What point is your play invalidated? So
I've got that for you.
Where,
I've got that for you.
Where are you jumping up out of this if it's not panning out?
I got that for you because I have a stop loss already set. $5.60. So
did everybody hear that? When this thing goes to 12 and they take profit on it, and then it drops down to $2 because it's a swing trade, and you say, man, Josh, what happened? It's 2029. I'm still in it. What's going on? You just heard the profit target. You heard the stop loss. You got the whole play right here for free on YouTube. Everybody got to hit the like for Josh for that one. I'm going back and making sure I hit the like.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I think the best way for me to say it is if you bought this tomorrow, I told you earlier, I've got a plan, I've got patience, and I've got discipline. Part of my plan is part of my 4 disciplines, which is to trade the trend. The trend on this is up. To use a stop loss. My stop loss is 560. To control position size, I get this. I think Larry's the one that said this, and I think I got to give him credit for sayings. He's got a lot of sayings. If you guys hear me say stuff, I might have picked it up from Larry. Small cap, small position size. Okay, that's my 3rd discipline, position size. Right. And then 4, don't overtrade, don't revenge trade, don't emotion-driven trade. There's probably some others I could add in there, but that's the core 4 of my disciplines right now. So let's move on. And we're gonna wrap this show up in a moment. I want to get some technicals and some inspiration on these particular plays. I'm gonna draw on Money Mike's view. Money Mike, I don't know if you had. I see you charting back there while we're talking. I'm curious if you've identified one that you like based on the chart. Do you want to take a minute and tell us what it is and then show it to us?
Well, I'm just right there with you on Poet, man. That's my favorite chart out of the 4. On your 2-day that you got me going on, Josh, do you want to pull up your 2-day or I'll show you?
I'm going to throw your screen up, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Right here's exactly what Keenan wanted to know. If it drops below this volume bar right here, I'll give it a few cents. I'm out right there at 560. I was almost with you, Josh. I'm looking for this thing. Check your MACD out. 2-day chart crossing up. We're about to push through 60 right here.
He's telling you all the important things, people.
If you are not following Spy Lord, you are doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. Here's what we're getting over now. We need to get over this little hump right here, y'all. So I like this chart. I really like this chart, man. This is my favorite chart out of what you've said.
All right, let me. So I'm gonna just go in very briefly, and we're gonna let Larry give his favorite after that. Okay. But I want you guys to see a couple charts from my point of view. So let's go over to Rigetti. Now, what do I like about Rigetti? What I like about Rigetti is that it is, if you want to pick a stock out of these 4 where the trend is absolutely clearly defined, and the only risk is that it's been running hot, but has got no bearish divergence or no distribution selling. Everything's in alignment on Rigetti. Now, personally, it does scare me a little bit because boy, is it hot, but it does have more room to run, and there's nothing but sky above it right now. And volume does not suggest stealth selling. It down here, it's super hot, but the last time it got up to around 92, well, it's got a little bit more room to go. It could still move up, but this was the main point I wanted to show you about Rigetti. So far, there's a couple of my charting guys that don't like it still. They're like, I don't know, Josh, it looks too hot. Well, let me slow down. Give me a minute. Okay,
this one runs a long time hot.
Right here, when it got up to 92, it came back and bounced on the 70. Okay, now watch. That was right here. It still had gas in the tank, and it went up another 165%, 172. So if you follow what I just said to you, Rigetti has no bearish divergences. It's got confluence of volume, confluence of RSI, confluence of MACD, and confluence of price, and nothing but blue skies above it. And even though it's hot, once it cools off here on the RSI, okay, just briefly, is if it comes back on the 70 and bounces, we can get another almost 200% on the price. Okay. So
Yep.
for perspective, let's do that real quick. So right here, we're up hot on the RSI. If we come back and get one bounce on the 70 and we move up again, which I think we would, that would give us, let's do the percentage. That would get us up to $80 to $90. $80 to $90. So, you know, you guys could do what you want as far as ignoring these technicals, but they work for me. Now, I got to be honest with you, Rigetti, from the standards of bullish analysis, is the most bullish out of all of these because of the factors, the volume, the blue skies above it, the room for it to continue to run hot, and the fact that there is no divergence in the MACD or the RSI to really speak of. You know, what's winning is going to continue to win. So we trade the trend, we hold our winners longer. Rigetti says hold longer. Okay. Having said that, I personally like the BBAI chart as well as the Poet chart. I personally like the two of them. I think it all comes down out of these four. I'm not a super fan of open because I saw distribution in the volume. So just hear me out, right? I'm not saying the move up for open is over, but the huge difference between open and Rigetti is that there is stealth selling by big sellers in the volume. There is. So mark my words. There is selling there, distribution, unloading of positions, caution taking. But there isn't in Rigetti. And Poet and BBAI look beautiful to me. I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to wrap up this show. I hope you guys enjoyed this, the focus. I haven't given a lot of focus to these four. You're getting it tonight. Larry, if you had to pick one of these, what would you pick and why?
It would be Rigetti and Poet. Oddly enough, Josh, the one that I'm scared of the most is BBAI. All right, and I'll just show you why I am scared.
Take me there.
And I understand old sensei chart master. But listen, that's an inside joke. But listen, this is what I don't like about BBAI. It has huge, just like the other stock, just like Poet, it has huge movements, right? And when it came out, it was flat. It dumped 50%, went up, then it dumped again 95%. And then we had these huge spikes, right? So it doesn't look like a lot, but these are huge spikes. And then it goes right back down. Well, it's been running up, right? And personally, I'm not. Now, it could take off tomorrow. I get it. But I'm looking forward to pull back to 460, 470-ish before I pile in for a long. So I'm just talking about, for me to accumulate. I understand what you're talking about as far as a swing trade. But if PCE comes out and things are not good, I wouldn't start, and it starts to fall, I wouldn't be getting in until around 470-ish. Because BBAI is extremely violent. Every time it spiked up, it came back down. Spiked up, came back down. Spiked up, came back down. So what I'm saying is, at this point and where we are with AI, this is not a long-term hold at these levels at the top. If you're going to hold long, wait for it to cool off and start to dollar cost average, because it will go up. But BBAI, I've been watching it because I've made a lot of money off the warrants. It will come down, and it will come down hard. And so you got to buy these on the dips and you got to pop them on the rips. But if you're looking for hold, just for long-term positions in BBAI, just wait and let it come to you. That's what I feel. I'm stronger on Rigetti. Rigetti is one of the ones that I brought to the family. Poet is one of the ones I got introduced to by Josh. So I really got to start looking at the attributes of Poet. I like what Josh showed me. So I'm Rigetti and Poet, and I'm least on BBAI, though I see what you're showing us, Josh. I just don't trust it.
Well, to Larry's point, BBAI is still working through some resistance. But what I like about it, and remember, guys, this is to me, so let's say you made a ton of money on Palantir, okay? It's up here, $175. I told one of my good friends out in San Diego, he asked me, he didn't really want to spend a lot of time in the market. He said, Josh, give me one stock. Give me one stock to buy. He had about $750,000. And I thought about it. And this was when Palantir was $21. I said, dude, buy as much Palantir as you'd like. This is, I guess you could tell me, I guess I could say this is why some of my friends love me. But here's my point. BBAI, I think, could, if the stars aligned, it could be the next Palantir. In an AI world, this is their moment. If they don't get all of their ducks in a row and figure out this moment, because they could be mammoth, huge, multi-billion-dollar company. Yes.
Since you said that, that's a good point. I want you guys to listen closely. Show them in the charts where they would buy for a long versus a hold,
that's actually easy to do.
Trade.
That's a great thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that for you guys.
Yes, please. I want you guys to listen clearly.
Okay, well, let's just talk about some basics. Now, we've got the volume range visual profile on the chart. These are these bars right over here. And the white line shows the highest level of volume buys, which would also equal the highest level of support. And we've done a great job building this level of support, which previously had been resistance, okay? We had an initial break of it, right? But then we came back, fell beneath it, consolidated, and just to be very, very crystal clear, I called BBAI right here in my page. So right here, I told everybody this is one I love, and it moved up a little bit, came back a little bit, and I shouldn't give any focus to the whiners, but I had people, oh, Josh, BBAI, it's your dog, it's not going anywhere. And I'm like, nope, I love it. Nope, I love it. Of course, we then rocketed. Now let's look at the story of volume, because I'm going to teach somebody out there how important volume is. And the volume accumulation that we got was right here on this candle, okay? And then we have another one. These are weekly candles, was last week on this candle, okay? So this is where big buyers stepped in. Now, all we have to do to be in the same boat as Rigetti is get above this level. So we got to get above $9. And we have a long historic area. Again, you see how the resistance was down here and it couldn't break it? Down here, couldn't break it, but now we've broken it. Well, what are we going to do? Next level right here, around $10. Psychological level. We hit it again. We couldn't break it. We hit it again 3 times. What happens when the SWAT team keeps hitting that wall? It's going to come down. So the Rigetti story, I mean, this is a beautiful chart. Look at all these higher lows here. I mean, you cannot ask for anything better than this. I know that...
You mean BBAI, not Rigetti.
Yeah, BBAI. Well, I was saying like Rigetti, like Rigetti, it will have clear skies here soon. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Larry, for helping me clarify. So right now, it's still dealing with a shelf of resistance right below $10. And I think you're right. I think it could, mess with this $9, come back down to $6. But eventually, to me, those red candles are all buying candles, because you can see the trajectory of this chart, guys. As soon as we get above $10, this is going to be a pretty good stock. I think our first target is going to be $17. That's going to be this previous wick right here. That's in the books. Now, I can't tell you guys what to do. It's not financial advice. But there's a reason I never come out here and waste your guys' time. I never come out here and talk about stocks that are dogs and are dying. I'm coming out here and giving you good technicals on stocks that you should be looking at that I've already made money on. We made money. Money Mike and I made money on BBAI, I think in July, August, and September. And I plan on making money on BBAI all the way till the end of this year. Money Mike, why don't you lead us out? Final thoughts on this show. Larry and I have Larry and I have been friends for between 25 and 30 years. And what we call this time is CEO time. So we get together, we look at charts, we talk about what we're doing, we argue a little bit, and out of it, we walk away and we make some financial decisions. That's what I'm hoping all of you guys will do tonight. You'll walk away and say, maybe if I'm Deshaun, I'm going to put some long-term money to work, like Keenan and Josh said about Oprah and Trump. Stop over trading. Remember, discipline 4, don't over trade. You got to just put some in the market and let it cook for you. Deshaun, I see you making big bucks, thousands of dollars a day. Put some of that in the SPY, VOO,
Right.
SPNO. Was that the new one, Keenan, that you liked? SPNO? You're muted, brother.
All right, yeah, I'm back. So SPMO, you got it.
MO as in Mary?
Yep, M as in Mary.
Okay.
SPMO.
Okay.
Momentum,
Put a little bit
momentum
in
ETF.
SP. That's a new position for me. I learned from Keenan over this last weekend. But like Larry said, I got to requote Keenan here for a minute. I was thinking about Larry, but Keenan said, the Fed is maybe gonna possibly, do what he's gonna do, but I'll let you both say something here, Larry. The bottom line is the guy's out in five more times he's going to talk, and then he's done. His time on Wall Street's global stage has come to an end, right? And I think he did a great job. I'm okay with him. I don't have any problems, but it's gone. He's over. 5 more times he's going to speak, and we'll never likely see him again. And he's never going to crash our portfolios on Fed Day. Larry, what are your final thoughts on our conversation this evening?
Who you calling?
Larry.
Final conversation. It's a great conversation. I was going to have you pull up QURE. So these are some, wait a minute. I'm sorry. These are some runners that I got. You can't even see it there. Here we go, right here. So these are 2 runners.
What's the ticker, Larry?
We're up in the pre-market. QURE.
Okay. I got it.
All right. So these popped. All right.
Ooh,
and I bought one share.
Did you give that to your family, Larry?
I did. You know what? I started doing something. I'm going to start even tomorrow doing a couple of days ago, I started doing pre-market runners. This was one of them that I didn't post. I think I didn't post this one today because, sometimes they pop in the pre-markets and then they drop. Well, Josh, I got one share of each of these and I regret not getting in heavier. Even after they ran, the one share of that, look at that, 28%, and the one share of CLPT up 23%. So I just grabbed one share.
What do they do, Larry? What does this company do?
Josh, I was so busy today, I don't even know what they do. You know about my little gift that I have about
health technology, biotechnology.
Yeah, biotech. Yeah. But I don't know exactly what they do in biotech. And biotech are highly risky. 90% of them that pop up drop like a rock. Okay?
I'm going to give everybody, I looked at the chart, and I'm going to give everybody, people who are interested in this play, I'm going to give you support.
This one popped because it had something to do with Donald Trump, I understand. So I don't know, he said something, he signed something. I did not research it, but it ran up and it held. So you tell us what you see about it, John.
All right, let me just go over there quick, and I'm just going to, this is one to watch. I just want you guys to learn to chart, just folks out there to understand important levels, okay? Now, always, one of the most important points of control on your chart is your IPO, okay? This fell beneath it, and it came back and it hit it. Look at this giant green bar, very similar to the one we just got. We consolidated beneath it. This price action on the weekly looked very much like BBAI. And eventually, we got above the IPO point of control. And the last time we did that here, this thing moved up. I'll give you the percentage. The last time we did that, this moved up 388%, which means that's a potential measured move. Now, where is support? Let's say it begins to fade. I don't know what the fundamentals or the news story is, but I just want you to understand, here's support right here, $28. This was resistance, turned support, breakdown, resistance. So this is your most important point on the chart right now. The price range is going to be between 29 and really I'm going to say 75. So that's what you have to, once you identify your points of control, then you begin to, you can see the accumulation in this volume. This has been accumulated here, here, and here. Just like BBAI, in my opinion, this was showing steady accumulation until it had its breakout moment. This is between 29 and 75, which means there is room all the way up to 75, even though the stock is 47.50. But if it turns around or the positive news story isn't as good, then you could find support in the future at 29. And I'm going to tell you something about these. I don't know the Japanese word very well, the Madaruzi, but it means bald in Japanese. This is a bald candle, means no wick, means bullish, means that from $50, this could likely hit 75 by the end of this week. So I'm not calling it up. If I were to get in this, go ahead, Larry.
Here's one of the things I got to warn the people. Sorry to cut in, good people,
No problem.
but you got to understand. I want you to pull this up too. I just pulled it up, right? And put it on the big screen. So this is what I want you guys to get used to doing, right? So when you see a stock, you want to see what's going on with it fundamentally, right? So 3 hours ago, U.S. stock fall. Okay, here. 3 hours ago, a cure for Huntington's disease, right? Launches new 102. But go down here. It announced 200 million proposed public offering, right? So you gotta be careful. Always read the news story, because when small companies make money, the first thing they want to do is do a public share offer. And they want to dilute it so they could raise capital. Okay, but here's what's interesting about it. See, this is why they used to call me and Josh a dynamic duo, because when you got the technicals and the back end, you can't lose. Here's one of the things that I want to show you guys. Even with that news, Josh, it's up almost 6% in the after hours, which is
amazing.
Strange. It is amazing with this news. For those of you that don't know what a proposed public offering is, that's a share dilution. So that means that they're going to flood the market with more shares, which makes your shares worth less. Why would they do that, Larry? So they could raise more capital so they can continue with their research or what have you. All right. So you can take it from there, Josh.
All right. I want to show you one more thing, and then we're going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys have been having a good time. I've enjoyed myself. A little bit of a bullish, if you keep studying this, you start looking at more and more. This is a classic inverse head and shoulders pattern. And why does that matter? Why do we care? Isn't that move over? No, we also have this coinciding with a historic line of resistance, a long-term bearish resistance trend, right? It broke right here beautifully. This was an incredible point of control at $16. But why do we care? Because we take the neckline down to the middle, and this, it could be argued, I could sit here, I'd have to spend a lot of time on this chart to dial in this, but I chose this spot between the neckline and this area of the majority of accumulation. And if you put that at the top where the breakout occurred, and that also needs to be fine-tuned, it shows that we should hit 57. So I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction on this, that we might hit, that's my current prediction for this. I'm not going to say that we're going to hit 78. We have to see. The full move is largely finished at 57. Then I would expect a flag pattern, and then we'd have to get more bullish news and less dilution to see if it would go any higher. Hopefully that helped you guys. All right. Don't forget, I want to get my man Money Mike. I want to get him up to 6,000 subscribers. I'd like you to go over there, not just subscribe. This guy's worthy, okay? He's worthy to follow. Subscribe, like a video, and put a comment on to feed the algorithm with a little bit of engagement.
Thanks, brother.
Spy Lord, final thoughts on this. What are you going to walk away and buy tomorrow?
Man, I'm looking at Poet. You got my eyes open looking at Poet, man. I like that 2-day chart on it, and I'm going to follow up with it in the morning. I just started looking at it tonight. Didn't know anything about it. So.
Well, thank you for being part of this. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you want technicals on and more of a daily, weekly eyes on Poet, you can get that by joining the Stocks with Josh Discord.
Excellent.
Because Spy Lord will probably be dropping those in his channel. He's a crown trader there. I will also mention that there is a link for the Stock Squad Discord. And you say, well, why, Josh? You haven't talked about that in a while. We are getting ready to feed some powerful money-making alerts to that. And we haven't never raised that price. And if you want a piece of what I do, you want a piece of what Keenan does, and a piece of what Larry does, you might want to get in there and be part of the OG Foundation before we ramp up that Discord. So just a couple thoughts, as well as Mo, a piece of what Mo does. That's a taste of the squad. And we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Thank you guys for being my guests. I loved the conversation. Peace and blessings to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, brother.
Peace and blessings.